Chris Thomas here with In City Magazine, and today we're here with Oliver Dorsey. Oliver is the CEO and head consultant with Dorsey Consulting and Training. How you doing today, Oliver?
I'm doing great.
Good. Happy to hear. It's wonderful to be here with you today.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, you're welcome. Oliver, you know, our audience is primed up and ready to learn about, you know, what Dorsey Consulting and Training is. I mean, we've over the past few weeks and months, you know, we've put out tidbits of information to educate nonprofit organizations and also leaders.
Yes.
What services, or how would you describe and tell us more about Dorsey Consulting and Training?
Yeah, Dorsey Consulting and Training, DC&T, what we do is work in three primary areas. One is nonprofit development. And in that piece, we develop nonprofit organizations in the areas of 501c3s, 501c4s, and other destinations that fit the program requirements of what they're wanting to do and serve and who the individuals they want to serve within the nonprofit space. We also provide grant writing services for nonprofits, capacity building, that's around board development and organizational structure and development, and also fundraising training, resource development fundraising training for organizations. We do a couple of those workshops every year, and we also do a lot of in-house training for nonprofits in that particular space. So that's what we do on the nonprofit side of the house in terms of working with nonprofit organizations. We also work with small businesses and companies and corporations in the areas of leadership development. We have a catalog of different topics that we work with within the for-profit sector and also in the nonprofit sector as well with the leadership development. And whether it's dealing with customer experience, whether it's dealing with diverse behavior and diversity within the workplace, or just attitudes, ethics, values within the organization, just, you know, the mindset and the frame of how organizational employees and leaders should display themselves in the workplace. So that's what we do on that particular side of the house of DC&T, and also working with school districts. We all work with school districts in a number of capacities, of course, with the leadership piece, and also taking leadership to another level with the youth development within the school districts, where we partner with a couple of school districts within the last couple of years, providing leadership training for their students, whether they're in the specific clubs like DECA Club, the Beta Club, and those particular clubs, and other clubs within the school districts, and just bringing those individuals together and having some training, bringing in some individuals to speak with them about leadership, things of that nature. And you know, that's what we do. That's what we do in our business, and those are the three primary areas: nonprofit development, leadership development, training, and also working with school districts throughout the country, you know, if need be. And also we have a workforce development piece. We work with the state of Georgia. We're a provider through the state of Georgia to work with individuals with disabilities. And that's also, it's really in our educational piece, but I just wanted to make mention of that. We work with a number of clients throughout the Atlanta metro area and certain parts of the state to service those individuals with disabilities and job training, giving them the training that they need to be successful in the workplace, to have some longevity in the workplace. And that's, you know, we do that through job readiness, social and adjustment, and personal development. You know, it gives them the social skills that they need in order to be to adjust in the workplace and to be able to work with their employee and with other employees, and also with their employer, giving them the opportunity to, you know, socially be ready. And so we provide that training for them, and also job coaching. Once they are employed, we also provide some job coaching along the way.
You know, Oliver, when I hear the description of Dorsey Consulting and Training, what I hear is you guys have come up with a very great way of combining the business that you do and also love intertwined, because when it comes to working with nonprofit organizations, being a good leader and to work with individuals with disabilities, it takes a lot of social and lots of love and care, and patience, to do all that. So you guys would to be commended with how you do everything with Dorsey Consulting and Training. The first part, nonprofits. What in your years and years of experience in working with nonprofit organizations, what has been the 3 top concerns or questions and concerns with nonprofit organizations? What's the first one?
First is funding, having enough resources to operate and sustain an organization. That's number 1.
Mm-hmm. Can you touch on that a little bit?
Yes. We talk about fundraising, we talk about resource development. That's a pretty big scope within the nonprofit sector. When we talk about fundraising at a high level, whether it's through sponsorships, through special events, whether it's through grant writing, and amongst other things, you have to really have what we call a resource development plan in place. Not just a plan, just to have it, but a plan and an execution piece to it, and having the right individuals at the table to be able to execute it, meaning the board members and also the staff. Now, we go into another concern, number 2, I would say board development. Mm-hmm. It's a challenge for a lot of organizations to secure the board members that they need. And what do we mean by what they need? Individuals who have the ability or who's willing to learn how to advocate properly for the organization that they're serving. Be willing to be trained around raising money, being able to be trained around how to be a governing board member. It takes a lot, to be able to be a board member. I think a lot of people don't understand the importance of serving on a board. I mean, there's a lot of accountability that goes with that because you're governing an organization. So people need to understand the seriousness of it, and they also have to understand that at the end of the day, it takes dollars to run an organization, and you have to have individuals that have the confidence to be able to solicit individuals, solicit companies, small businesses, etc., to be able to do that in a way that's sellable and be able to build the right relationships in order to be successful. I think a lot of times when we talk about board members, the rejection piece, a lot of people don't like being rejected. I mean, you're asking for money, you get a lot of no's, but you also want to get some yeses. And then you're going to get some maybes. So you have to know how to work that entire process. And a lot of that goes around how do you do that? You have to find out through board development training. So that's very important in an organization and moving forward. And thirdly, the third piece in my view would be strategic planning. Having a good strategic plan, a roadmap, 2-3 year strategic plan of where an organization needs to go. A lot of times people jump into the nonprofit space not knowing what to do, and they're pulling teeth trying to figure it out when there needs to be a roadmap on how to do it, when to do it, and how to be successful at doing it. And again, that goes back to training and being open to training. Sometimes we have to put our egos aside, and a lot of times when you have, sometimes not all the time, corporate individuals that they have some of the individuals may have the idea, well, I know this, I work corporate, this and that, but the nonprofit space is a different type of business, and learning something that's different is very important. And sometimes we'd have to put our egos aside and go by doing things the nonprofit way. Not saying that some of the things on the corporate side wouldn't work. I think from a resource development standpoint, in terms of raising money, yeah, certain things like that. But when you're talking about a roadmap and strategic planning in developing an organization, when you're looking at it from even a sustainability standpoint or a growth standpoint, you have to have the right tools in place, and from a nonprofit standpoint, on how to make it happen.
You spoke about having a roadmap, as a nonprofit. Reading a roadmap takes good leadership and understanding.
Right.
How important, how does being a good leader change how a company or an organization operates?
Good leadership, as we all know, makes the difference. And having the type of individual that has the ability to lead and to have the ability to have individuals to follow what what the vision is. We talk about leadership, across the board, as nonprofit, for-profit, what have you. You have to. It's about having the individuals who understand people, who understands the personality and the mindsets of people. Sometimes we have to switch code every now and then to not saying that you're changing who you are authentically, but you have to, in order to benefit the organization or business, you have to kind of switch code to meet the personality. If you have the right person on your team, whether it's an employee or a board member or what have you, or a consultant, you have to have the ability to be able to lead those individuals to the ultimate vision of the organization. And how that happens is that leader, like I just mentioned, have to understand the personality of each individual that they're working with, and knowing how to work to win. It's all about winning. Mm-hmm. You have to work to win over the situation in things that you are wanting to accomplish. And like I just mentioned, it's not about you still being your authentic self, but you have to know the individual you're working with. Now, in knowing that, it goes back to the whole professional development piece training. People have to know how to do that. How do I win people over to the vision that I have? And it's a training piece in leadership on how to do that. And that's part of what we do as an agency, is teach individuals, how to do that through personality evaluations and things of that nature. So that's from a leadership standpoint, that's what we teach and have individuals be successful at it.
That is amazing, wonderful information. I know that our listeners are loving this information. Speaking about roadmap,
right,
and working to win,
right,
and that encompasses, these are things that all leaders need. And so nonprofit organizations, leadership, and also for-profit organizations as well when it comes to leadership.
Right.
Leadership and continual education.
Right.
Why is that important in regards to having an accurate roadmap and also working to win? Why leadership and continue the education of leadership?
It's very important because when we're talking about professional development, some individuals feel that I can do enough just to get by, or I can save money by just doing just a little bit or sending my employees to receive training, when all day long, from the leadership of an organization to the person that's your employees, there has to be a level of professional development training. Whether it's once a year, twice a year, there needs to be that, because it's important for the growth and sustainability of any business or organization. There are always great nuggets you can take away. I don't care how many trainings that you attend, whether it's our great gurus out there like the John Maxwell's, Stephen Covey's. you still need to make sure that your organization and your business has in place the resources for professional development training. And it's so important because we're living in a ever-changing society. You know, as we look at now with social media, we look at now with our younger generation, with millennials, or the group behind them. The group behind the millennials, they're coming up. 6-7 years from now, they'll be what the millennials are today. So we have to be prepared in letting our next generational leaders know that it's very important to continue to receive professional development training. Once, you know, they're out of, whether they go to college or go to trade school, whatever the situation in the military, there's still a level of training that has to be taking place, whether it's that generation or Generation X, baby boomers. We have to have it. And it's a must because, like I said, we're in an ever-evolving society. And it's a fast train. The train is not going to stop anytime soon.
I certainly understand that. Oliver, this has been some wonderful information in regards to nonprofit organizations, the leadership for nonprofits and for-profit businesses, along with the importance of leadership, education, having a good roadmap, and working to win, right, you know, as well. I mean, Dorsey Consulting and Training has done amazing work in continuing the education of nonprofits and leadership. How can our listeners contact Dorsey Consulting and Training?
Yes, you can contact us by website. Number one is DorseyCT.com, DorseyCT.com. You can contact us via email. Email is my name, Oliver, at DorseyCT.com, or you can contact us at info@DorseyCT.com, or just simply call us at 678-889-2067.
Are you guys on social media?
Yes, we have a Facebook page. You can definitely, please like us on our Facebook page, which is Dorsey Consulting and Training. We have some current information on there, where we have our workshops and when we're going to have them, and other communications as well. So please like us on Facebook, and we're... Okay.
Sounds great. This has been some wonderful information. Thank you for your insight.
All right.
And I always learn something when I'm sitting and talking to Oliver. Thank you for those who are listening in City Magazine World, and those for our social media pages. Thank you for tuning in. We'll see you next time in City Magazine. Have a fantastic day.